Hi, I'm Joe, an artificially generated newscaster, and here's a short run through the recent happenings in the cyber world. I'll start with several updates. RansomedVC, a new ransomware gang that was put on sale just a few days ago, announced shutting down. The gang's leader said 4 of their affiliates had been arrested, so the best course of action was to fire the rest of the crew and disperse. According to the Post, poor operational security of young hackers was to blame. So naturally, the leader announced hiring 6 people with good OPSEC for a new private initiative. This means this is probably not the last time we hear of this collective. RansomedVC became known for its exaggerated claims and outright falsehoods. According to ZeroFox, it had around 40 victims since opening shop in August. However, it became famous after supposedly having hacked all of Sony, which was a bunch of falsehoods built on a small grain of truth. Another update comes from Lockbit, which reportedly conducted a successful attack on ICBC, the largest Chinese bank. The gang told Reuters that ICBC ended up paying the ransom. Reuters was unable to independently confirm this claim, though. VX Underground also said Lockbit confirmed the payment, so that's at least 2 independent sources. At this point, we can pretty safely say the story is true and Lockbit probably received a hefty dose of cash from ICBC. I'll use this opportunity to remind you that paying criminals is strictly not recommended. If the companies stopped doing that, the ransomware market would disappear, and we would live in a vastly better world. But I'm sure ICBC had its reasons. In other news, DP World, the largest seaport operator in Australia, sustained a heavy cyber attack. The company detected unauthorized access to its systems on Friday and had to shut down 4 ports. Just for context, those ports handle around 40% of all goods entering and leaving Australia. Some of them have since been opened, and others may remain closed for weeks, so the consequences are nothing but severe. DP World said they are trying to minimize the damage and Australians should not be experiencing any shortages. But there is a high chance it is going to mess up Christmas shopping, at least for some. Another country to come under a serious cyber attack was Denmark. A new report says that Russia-linked hackers used an exploit to bypass Zyxel firewalls and attack the country's energy infrastructure. 22 companies were attacked, with 11 of them being breached immediately. The attackers did not try to disrupt their operations, but rather gather credentials and leave backdoors to execute further attacks. Danish non-profit sector CERT identified the attackers as Sandworm, a moniker for Russia's military unit 74455. It specializes in attacks on industrial systems, such as the infamous NotPetya, which had catastrophic consequences back in 2017. Let's move to something slightly less serious. Google announced suing a whole slew of scammers. The company filed 2 lawsuits, one of them targeting entities that bought ads and pretended to distribute the Bard AI. You probably saw some of those ads, and yes, they are as annoying as it gets. Another lawsuit targets companies that were creating fake Google accounts for submitting bogus copyright claims. Let's hope Google manages to make at least a dent in these markets. And I'll end on chess.com, one of the largest online chess communities. It sustained a serious data breach with the details of nearly 500,000 users leaked. The database was scraped, meaning that the threat actors abused internal features to get as much publicly available user data as possible. It does not contain anything sensitive, but hundreds of thousands of emails and usernames in one place is bad enough. This is the second time a scraped database was posted. Previously, the information of almost 1 million users was leaked, and the threat actors say they are going to keep posting these scrapes no matter what. And that's it for today. Check out my recap of the last week, and see you in the next one.